What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the best things about living in the UK. So, today, I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion where somebody asked, I love the UK. What do you also love about living here? And they went on to say that they moved to the Oxfordshire countryside. Oxfordshire. That is the most British sounding place I've ever heard of. I don't know where that is exactly, but I moved to the Oxfordshire countryside a while back, and honestly, I love it. January to March can feel like a never ending slog if you're judging the UK in the wintertime, but you're not seeing it at its best. But once spring kicks in, it's a whole different vibe. The summer is genuinely amazing. Wow, we've got a dog. Let me tell you, the UK is a dream for dog owners. Public footpaths are everywhere. The countryside is stunning. And I can attest to that. I actually did a video the other day about Lake District in England. Ridiculous, outrageous. Like, most Americans have no idea. The countryside of the UK is ridiculous. That's so true. And you've been spoiled for choice when it comes to day trips. Within 3 hours, you can be in some of the most beautiful spots imaginable. That is so cool. I think that must be because the UK, especially compared to the United States, the UK is a lot smaller, which has an incredible advantage to it in the sense that you can get places. Like, as an American, I've only been to, like, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 states in my life, or driven through a couple more. But there's so much of the United States that I know I'm never going to see. It's too gigantic. But in the UK, it actually feels like, you can get places. You can spend your life and see basically everything if you really want to. And you have all these day trips within a couple hours drive, depending on where you are. Exactly. In the UK, of course. I'm close enough to London to enjoy the perks of working there. Yeah, it feels like everybody's a couple hours from London. Is that true? Like, if you're in the UK, is everyone just close to London? I know that's not technically actually true, but feels like in a lot of parts of England, like genuinely, you can drive to London if you're willing to go a few hours or maybe less, which is amazing. One of the biggest, coolest cities in the world is just right there. My job is flexible. Okay. Home life. I've got a new build in a eco estate. I'm not sure what that means. Surrounded by countryside and horse fields. It's peaceful, well built. Wow, this person sounds like they've got it kind of figured out. I'm into gardening. You can have hobbies. The UK is perfect for that. Gardening and hobbies. The variety in the UK is unreal. You can go from rolling hills to dramatic coastlines, ancient woodlands to mountain ranges, like the Lake District, which I said I checked out the other day, actually. If you're into history, there's so much history. That's right. That's another thing the UK has: history and castles, medieval towns, Roman ruins. That is so cool, man. Yeah, you don't see any of that cool old stuff in America, really. The seasons make life special here. Winter might be a drag. So, literally, if you're watching this right now, might be a drag right now. It's kind of cold. But spring and summer are stunning. Autumn has its own magic. There's nothing like a proper British pub. A British pub. Yeah, I don't think America has anything like an authentic British pub. We have bars. Heck, we even have wannabe places that call themselves pubs, but I don't think they're actually anything close to a real British pub. Good food, cozy fires, the community vibe. Yeah, yeah. It we can't recreate that. We try, but we can't. Travel links are solid. Public transport connects you to most places. That's a wow. Jeez, the UK is sounding pretty darn good. There's so many things like the geography, the history, the pubs, public transport. Seriously, if you're in the United States, you have to drive. There's no option about it. Maybe if you live in a big city, if you live in New York City, okay. Maybe you'll take a Uber or taxi or God forbid, walk. Ugh. Maybe you'll walk somewhere. Gosh, or a bike. God. But it sounds like in the UK, there's actually a good infrastructure of public transportation. Like you got buses, you got those double-decker buses I've seen, trains, stuff like that, subways, all that. I mean, that'd be, yeah. I don't know. At this point, I feel like most Americans, even if we built public transportation like well here in America, we've got a couple buses going on, but that's about it. If we did a good job, I'm actually convinced at this point, most Americans, I'm so used to driving and being able to just go in my car and drive somewhere, even if it's a mile away. If it's like a 10-minute walk, it's like, oh God, 10 minutes? No, let's drive. I think we're just beyond saving at this point. You can fly to Paris, Rome, or Barcelona for cheap. That's so crazy because that's really something I never think about. And I guess it's because I'm in the United States. The ability to fly and travel to another country, let alone all of Europe. I never think about that. That has so many advantages. You can go to cool places, get exposed to other cultures, something Americans are desperately in need of. We don't get hardly any exposure to any outside cultures or ways of thinking or ways of life. In the United States, you can go to Canada, you can go to Mexico. Depending on where you are in the United States, though, that's still, you could drive for 10 to 20 hours to get to another country still. And most Americans don't even think about leaving the United States. Traveling to all the different states is kind of enough of an adventure for a lot of us. I think most Americans don't even have a passport, don't even bother. So this one really hit home for me, actually. You can fly to Paris, Rome, Barcelona. The idea that you can just get a cheap flight, or maybe you can travel by ground too, I don't know, to another country, like France or like Italy, or that's crazy. That all the UK and the rest of Europe, just for Americans, feels so far away that we don't even think about it. We don't like visiting it. We don't even think about the possibility of visiting other countries. It's not even on our radar, our to-do list, which is sad. That's a huge advantage. Huge thing if you live in the UK. That maybe if you live in Europe, you take that for granted that you can just travel around Europe. But as an American, that's amazing. It's hard to even explain. Compared to Australia, the UK feels balanced. There's mild weather, no bushfires, wildfires, walkable towns and villages, free healthcare, vibrant cultural diversity. Man, the list goes on and on and on here. So, as an American, I don't really ever get to hear about what people living in the UK love about it. And this person makes it sound pretty amazing. So yeah, that's just what I want to do here today in this video, is hear from people living in the UK about why it's great, what they love the most about it. So let's scroll down here to some of the other comments in this Reddit discussion. I live in Edinburgh. No. Edinburgh. Edinburgh? Is that? I think I'm doing that right. And it is such a wonderful place. The city itself is eye-poppingly gorgeous. That's another thing. Like, I would never describe most American cities as being eye-poppingly gorgeous. That phrase has never been uttered by an American visiting, like, Detroit. No offense to Detroit, but yeah, and other American cities. The people are friendly and welcoming. The food scene is diverse and delicious. Oh, that's another perk. The food, the diverse food, from Michelin starred restaurants to haggis on a stick. Haggis on a stick. Haggis on a stick. Healthcare is top notch. That's a. Let's not even get started about the healthcare. Maybe we'll get started a little bit. Yeah, here in the United States, we have a healthcare insurance system. If you don't have healthcare insurance, and sometimes even if you do have it, it doesn't cover everything that you need. You can end up with bills for thousands of dollars. I've gone to the emergency room for stuff, random stuff, and I always expect a bill in the mail later for at least $1,000 or more dollars. That is just a fact of life. A lot of people in America don't go to the emergency room for financial reasons. So it's horrible to think about. You need healthcare insurance. God forbid if you don't have that. Like if you gave birth in America, the sticker price is like $30,000. Once you factor in insurance, you can give birth for like, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000, and that's just people just accept that. Even the weather is just fine with me. Never getting as obnoxiously hot in summer as London or southern England. I love it here. Wow. Let's hear from some more people. Well said. Thanks for bringing some balance to some of the usual posts here, suggesting the UK is some sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland. Who says that? I don't hear about that. Okay. I feel exactly the same. I love the UK. Wouldn't be anywhere else. Like you, I've traveled a lot. I've lived abroad for a couple of years. And I think for the most part, people just assume it must be awesome living somewhere where it's always hot and always sunny. But the reality is the opposite. I missed the UK, the changing of the seasons, the greenery, the beauty of the UK countryside, the coastline. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of Americans, myself included, I've at least seen a lot of YouTube videos now showing some parts of the UK that are beautiful. But most Americans, when they think of the UK, really visually, nothing really comes to mind specifically. Maybe London, maybe like old European architecture, maybe a castle comes to mind. They think of the king or queen, royalty, but nothing in terms of geography, which is very sad in a way. Scotland has kind of a reputation of having like a beautiful countryside in for Americans, I would say. But I don't think England gets enough credit, let alone like Northern Ireland or Wales. So I think this is a big one that Americans don't know about. Like the beauty of the UK countryside, the coast, and the cities. I think the cities are probably rated pretty. A lot of Americans, if they do visit the UK, are probably there for the cities. Politeness, the BBC, pubs, stability. The fact that things just work. You can trust the police. That's a big one. Supermarkets, the range of food you can buy. I can go on. Wow. All right, let's keep going. I actually love the seasons we get in the UK. There's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothes, as Billy Connolly said. Only the wrong. I mean, yeah, no matter how hot or cold it is, especially if it's cold, you can always just put on more stuff, I suppose. It's your fault at the end of the day. What else do we have here? All my stuff is here. Okay. What do they love? What do they love about the UK? All their stuff is there. Yeah. Okay. That's a good reason. I'm currently in the Philippines for 2 weeks into a 3-week visit for my wife's family. It's the first time I've been outside of Europe. What I will say is that it's made me appreciate a lot of what we take for granted in the UK. Interesting. Don't get me wrong, I've loved my time here, but even my wife, born and lived in Philippines until 10 years ago, is currently saying she's looking forward to coming to the home to the UK. Wow. The first example, 33-degree weather in February sounds nice. It's not when the humidity is 80%. Huh. Food. There are alternatives available, but it is all Americanized crap. Sugar in literally everything. Oh, sounds nice. That's what life outside of the UK is like, they're saying. Very good. Let's keep going. Oh, can we? There we go. The sense of humor. That's what they love about the UK. And the weather. And the weather. I'm seeing a lot of comments here kind of defending the weather. I know the UK has a reputation for being rainy, I'm going to say, or at least England or London has that reputation of being rainy or kind of. I'm hearing that it's very mild, which sounds fine. Like, I'll take mild for sure over like scorching hot and then sometimes freezing cold. I've rediscovered horse riding in my 50s. Okay. Oh, there's nothing like riding in the freezing cold and the smell of feeling the British countryside. Do a lot of British people out there, do you live sort of out in the countryside? It's tough for me to even imagine. I can only relate this to the United States. There's our big cities, then the smaller cities, then like towns, and then really, really small towns. And I've always liked really small towns and sort of trying to get that open, low population feel. Not, I wouldn't really say a countryside. It's not like I'm in Texas or something, but in Britain it feels like there's a lot of countryside. And as an American, I think a lot of Americans don't really visualize that. It's like we think you all live in London or something. It's actually helped me to tolerate winter. Okay. Anything else? I love the convenience of everything. Having lived in the third world for a bit, I am aware of how convenient healthcare, education, food, and a good lifestyle is in the UK. Yes. Whether I look at politics or social media, I see a lot of negativity in the UK. But really, compared to the rest of the world, the UK is privileged, and I love it too. Yeah. Well, if you look on social media and news, and all you're going to see are the horrors of the world. Some of them legitimate. But can't beat a British summer at its peak, especially when an international football tournament is on. Ah, some good British football. A country full of hope. Out in the beer garden, the countryside looks majestic. Wow. Ah, all right. I think I've gotten a pretty good idea. Oh, wait a minute. I moved here from the United States. I live in the West Midlands and I love it. Oh, this is an American talking about moving to the UK. 4 distinct seasons, breathtaking country scenery, smack dab in the middle of England, makes it easy to get anywhere. Europe is a quick flight. This sounds amazing. And the people, I love the people. They have been so kind, welcomely, and the best sense of humor. I love it. That's a great one to end on. Since I was an American, it's kind of something I can relate to. Some of the things they've noticed, I guess, were interesting to hear about. This was all really interesting to hear about. There's a lot of things to love about the UK. I can feel the love and the passion just through this Reddit discussion. And that was really cool to hear about because living in the United States, you don't hear about, you don't hear from people in Britain about what they love about Britain. You just hear about the United States. So this was a great, great change of pace. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. If you are living in the UK, what are some of the things you love the most about living in the UK? That'd be awesome to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and learning about British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.